Ladies and gentlemen, your victory was a victory not for organized labor, although it was. Your victory was a victory for the middle-class people of this country. And just look what you did. You needed 231,000 signatures. You got 1.3 million. You needed 50% of the vote. You got 61% of the vote. Nowhere near. Nowhere near 60% of this state is organized labor or any other state. You had 2.1 million people vote against issue 2. That's more people than voted in the last election for your governor. Now, I don't mean just your governor. The point is, I don't mean it just that way. I mean, think of in an off year. In an off year, you got a turnout. You got a turnout. So I want you all to realize, what you probably do, this is something a lot bigger than all of you. You're the ones that lit the fire. No pun intended in a firehouse here. But you're the ones that lit the fire. But what you did is you tapped into the frustration and the anger and the absolute, I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like that movie years ago called Network, where the anchors go over there and say, we've had enough, we're not taking anymore. Well, that's what you tapped into. And you provided a rallying vehicle for people here to turn back a pernicious law. But it did more than that. You sent a signal all across America that working people, middle-class people, whether we're a white collar or a blue collar, they've had enough. They don't like the way the bargain's been broken here. And what are you seeing across the country? You're seeing people saying something's wrong here. Something's wrong. The deal we thought we had as middle-class people and people trying to get into the middle class, it looks like the deck is being stacked here. But clergy, teachers, cops, firefighters, community leaders, ordinary people, you all joined together in a common cause across this state, and together, that coalition, your coalition, sent a very, very, very impressive message. You sent a message that we're just not going to take any more of this stuff. I think the folks behind issue 2 thought they were taking on labor. But what they figured out, but the truth is, they were taking on the middle class. They were taking on the middle class in this country. And the simple truth is, they've been taking on the middle class for a long, long time. Folks, the middle class has been under siege in Ohio and across the country for a long, long time. You know, there used to be a basic bargain in this country. Really and truly. This is not political speak. This is just plain talk. There used to be a basic bargain in this country that you learned from your parents and your grandparents. And that was, if you work hard, if you study, if you go to school, you get a job, you're entitled to a job that can pay you enough money to live in a decent neighborhood, be able to pay for the heat in your home, have safe streets, send your kid to a decent school, and if they wanted to and you want to, be able to send your kid to college and maybe save a little bit of money for your retirement, so your kids don't have to do what you're doing. Help your parents when they're in trouble as they get older. Ladies and gentlemen, but now that bargain has been broken. This isn't just Joe Biden saying this, not just the Democrats saying this. You see it all across the country. Not a lot of people feel that these things can be reached anymore. They feel the ground is sort of moved underneath them and changed. They don't have the faith. That's what the folks behind issue 2, in my view, didn't understand. They don't understand that we're tired of the assault on the middle class. Not Joe Biden, Vice President. Joe Biden, raised in Wilmington, Delaware, tired of the assault on the middle class. You know, this was never a fight just about public employees. This was never just a fight about collective bargaining. And the whole state saw it. This is about more. This is about dignity. This is about you having a say in what your life will be. And that's what you said on Tuesday. So, folks, as I said, this wasn't just an assault on labor, public complicity, an assault on the middle class. And it is still in full bloom, full-throated attack in Wisconsin, in Pennsylvania, in Florida. Casey, Scott, Walker, they are reneging on the bargain that was so well settled so long ago. The bargain that said that every worker, public and private, union and non-union, deserved a fair shot. A bargain that said everyone could contribute and should contribute their fair share, not just the poor, but the wealthy. A bargain that said that the deck should not be stacked. Part of the role of government was to unstack the deck against middle-class people. That was a bargain that lasted for decades, since the 40s. And not just a Democratic bargain, that was a bargain Republican leaders shared. That was a bargain that independents shared. We all agreed on the basic deal. But ladies and gentlemen, there's a full-throated attempt to repeal that bargain, to repeal the right to collectively bargain, paycheck deception, try to reestablish right-to-work laws. And the irony of all ironies is these same guys are using their failed economic policies as an excuse to justify taking away your right to bargain for safe work conditions, living wages, decent health. When the decent thing to do is say, look, we made a mistake. We understand how we made a mistake. We don't agree with these other guys, but we're going to change it. We made a mistake. You don't hear them talk to anybody. You listen to these debates. Why is the reason things fell apart? All of you. Not Wall Street, not the lack of regulation, not the way in which they've operated the previous 8 years. It's as if the middle class, we brought this on ourselves. This isn't about labor. This is about giving the middle class a fighting chance. And you know why they voted against it, most of them? They don't like the way we paid for it. They said the way we paid for doing these things was class warfare. It's just that these guys won't even ask them to chip in, but they ask everybody else to chip in. Look, folks, Americans are prepared to pay their fair share in order to keep teachers in classrooms, cops and firefighters in the job, and to rebuild our schools, our roads, our bridges. Folks, I don't know any millionaire in my state that isn't willing to pay that $500 more to give kids a break, because what we're proposing is that the very wealthiest, the people making over $1 million a year, pay on the first dollar they make over $1 million, not on the first, just on the first dollar after $1 million, that they pay a little bit more. You know what? To give tax breaks to people who are making a lot less than $1 million. To give tax breaks to people who are trying to keep their homes, to let them refinance their homes. That's all we're asking. Folks, we're determined to get this economy going. That's why I was so pleased to see the story in the Plain Dealer yesterday about manufacturing on the rise right here in Northeast Ohio. Republicans are more determined to deny Barack Obama a victory than they are for cutting taxes for the American people. Folks, we just can't afford this kind of divisiveness anymore, the kind of petty politics. And so let me conclude by saying that that's what I admire so much about what you did. You didn't go out and make this Republican-Democrat. You went out and made this about the middle class. You went out and you talked about this not just in terms of unions. You talked about this, what it meant for growth in this state, what it meant for opportunity for ordinary people. And what are these guys doing now? It's not just the middle class is under siege because of these things. These guys are trying to cut college tuition credits. Right now, if you're lucky enough, like my dad, who never went to college, to have a chance to send his kid to college, you get right off $10,000 on your taxes if you send them to a four-year college. They want to do away with this in the name of budget restraint. They want to do away with all these things that make a difference in whether or not you can live in a decent neighborhood, whether you can stay in your home, whether or not you can have safe streets, whether or not you're going to be able to take care of your parents, whether or not you're going to be able to put a little bit of money away for your retirement, and whether or not you'll be able to send your kid to school after high school. That's not asking too much. What is asking too much is to deny middle-class people the opportunity to do that. So, folks, you fired the first shot. you fired the first shot. And folks, it's not about Barack Obama. It's not about Joe Biden. It's about whether or not middle-class people are going to get put back in the saddle again, because they're the ones that make this country move. So thank you all very much. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thanks. Thank you.